Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday to you on the June 4th here on my channel. And we got a good video to discuss today. I won't be too long. I'm gonna do a quick review. Stop in and get commentary, and I'll put the link in the chat if you guys want to stop by, man. Feel free, man. We are in the building today, Saturday. It's 80 degrees where I'm at, about 84, 85 where I'm at. Oh man, I hope y'all have a good day today, man. We are gonna get it started, man. We're gonna get it started today, man. Let's get it popping, man. Let's get it rolling. All right, let's go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got the debates of all debates. Hello, Celine. What's going on? All right, hold on 1 second. I got a whole bunch of sounds going. We go. Give me 1 second. But we got the DC Mayoral debate today. We got the DC Mayoral debate today. Mayoral Mania here today. Hold on 1 second. They trying to play it, bro. There we go. Gonna pause it real quick. Slow your roll. All right. Mayoral Mania running wild in DC today. We gonna talk about it. We got Celine in the building. Good morning, Celine. DC Mayor debate. We got Muriel Browser defending her title. She's defending her title. She's going against council members Trayon White and Robert White Jr. Sit on down. Have a good time. Mayoral Mania is running wild. Let's go. Let's go. All right. All right. Let's get it popping, man. Good morning. We are in the building, man. We are here, man. We are here. We made it through another week. You know, we got a lot of things going on. You got Omar Johnson. You've got this gun control thing going on. This conversation already in Canada. They freezing stuff out here in Canada. You can't buy a gun come in 90 days. The guns are sold out. The handguns are sold out in Canada. Shout out to Bret Hart. Shout out to Ragnarok. You know, One and Contrava, I think, is out from there. My man Vision, they all out from the Canada area, man. I don't know. I call it the six, but that's Toronto. But man, we gonna talk about the DC Democratic mayoral debate. We're gonna add some commentary to it. And share the stream, and if you're in here, choose the like button. And if not, you can choose the thumbs down, whatever one. But hey, show me some love, man. And if you're feeling froggy, man, show me some love on the Cash apps. You heard? You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna do this real quick. We're gonna go straight into it. We're gonna get it on and ready, y'all. And Hood Conservative will be coming on, so I won't be doing it too long. We will be on the Bernard Riley channel. He does his weekly show with Bernard Riley on Saturday, so it's gonna be a good one. This is a good Saturday, man. If you're out and about, you got your headphones, you can listen in, man. If you at home and you want to hop on, man, this is a perfect day, man. So let's get it popping with the DC mayoral debate, y'all. Let's get it going. You know what I'm saying? We gonna get it popping out here. We're gonna do what we have to do. And let me see if I can pull this up for everybody, man. Let's see who's in the building so far. You know what I'm saying? Got a few people in here. Don't be shy. Come and drop a chat line if you want, man. It's all good out here in the neighborhood. You heard? So let's do this, man. Let's do this right here. We gonna get it popping. We gonna see Let's see here. All right. We got it right here. We got it right here. All right. So I'm gonna let the sound play. I'm gonna take this out real quick. I don't want it to I had to do that for the theme song, but I did not want to do it for anything else. So we're gonna put that out the way. And we're gonna have some fun here with the debate. We're gonna have some fun out here. Let me know what you can see on the screen out there. If you can see it. All right, y'all can see it right there. All right, I had Celine on earlier. Hopefully she's still listening in. But man, let's get it popping, man. Let's get it popping, man. Let's go. All right. You see right there, you got the three right there. Yeah, I will call them two kings and a queen. You know, you got my man right here on the left with the blue tie and the blue blazer. You know, loosen up the boots. Superman is alive. You got out here, man. That Yaki flowing like Fat Joe, like Flo Joe. Remember Fat Joe used to call himself Flo Joe. You know what I'm saying? So she flowing with the yak. You know what I'm saying? She got the tatas out with the dress. You know what I'm saying? The I don't know what color this is, but it's orange pinkish. And then my man right here, man, funeral director drip. Funeral director drip right here. The black suit with the mock, you know, the mock chip over there, tie on, man. He getting it going. They gotta get their water in because this is wild, y'all. So this is about an hour. We'll see how long we get into this, but man, I want y'all to listen, and I want y'all to let me know what y'all think in the chat. I got Friezo Lou in the building. Friezo Lou is in the building. You know, Friezo Lou. You know what I'm saying? Friezo, if you want to hop on and work with me, feel free. I'll drop the link in the chat, man. This is a free flowing one. We're gonna have some fun, man. We're gonna have some fun. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do the thing. And let's get it popping, man. Let's get it popping, man. Let's see what's up, man. I'm talking too much, man. Let's get it to the beginning. Let's get it. All right. So can y'all hear the sound? If y'all can't hear the sound, let me know. All right, sound like the sound is not coming on my end. So let me see right here.
Good evening on University's historic Gaston Hall, bringing you the only televised debate in the 2022 Democratic primary for mayor of the District of Columbia. Over the next hour, our candidates will be asked a series of questions. Each candidate will have 1 minute to respond, followed by 2.5 minutes for discussion. Alongside me, moderating tonight, is the executive director of Georgetown Institute of Politics, Mo Alathe, and Fox 5 on the Hill anchor Tom Fitzgerald, who will be introducing the candidates right now. Thanks.
Well, thank you very much. It is time to meet our candidates this evening.
Fair use.
Of the District of Columbia. She represented Ward 4 on the DC Council from 2007 to 2015.
Hey, Hunter Barbecue Wings, good morning.
She was sworn in as mayor in 4 consecutive terms. Trajan Watt is a DC council member representing Ward 8. He was first elected to the council in 2016. He was reelected to a second term in 2020. This is the council member first campaign for mayor of the District of Columbia. And Robert White is also a DC council member. In 2016, he was first elected as an at-large council member. He was reelected in 2020. This is council member Robert White's first campaign for mayor of the District of Columbia. So let's get started. Mo has our first question today.
Thanks, Vince. Mayor Bowser, council members, thank you for being here. Welcome to Georgetown. Let's jump right in with an issue that's top of mind for many district voters: public safety, a growing concern, as violent crime rates are up 17% compared to this date last year. Now, Mayor Bowser has said that she wants to increase the police force to 4,000 officers. Is adding more officers the answer to our violent crime problem in the district? Each of you will have a minute to answer. And let's start with you, Mayor Bowser.
Thank you, Mo, and I want to thank everybody here at Georgetown and Fox 5 for the invitation. And certainly I want to make it very clear. I've heard loud and clear from DC residents, and I share the concern as well. Violent crime and addressing violent crime is on the top of my mind every single day. I wake up in the morning, think about it. I go to bed thinking about it. And all of us are going to tell you about our comprehensive plans to address it. So no one who's smart will say that there's only one solution. And that's why we have addressed violent crime and throughout my entire tenure by making sure we put every resource available at our disposal to fighting violent crime and working with our public safety partners to do the same. But I'm going to be the only one willing to tell you that I'm going to make the tough calls when it comes to violent crime, including making sure we have the police we need. I have faced 2 years of defunding our police force. I have advanced a bold plan to make sure we get there, focusing on hiring DC residents and hiring women, meeting Chief Conchi's pledge of getting to 30% women in our force by 2030.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Trayon White.
Thank you.
Hey, we could already stop right there, bro. Hold on.
With the narrative.
Oh man, at the
That's
height
the
of
homie right there. Let me get out.
oh yeah, Quavo finna go in, but I can already tell by the way that she talks that she's the one that's been in for the longest time. Like, I don't know if you noticed, like, during this, I watched like half of this. There's no sound of competition in her voice. It's almost like she's running against herself. And there's just like, who are these other two that are here ruining my good time? It's supposed to be about me. And it's evidenced by the fact that she believes that the solution to crime is an adequate representation of women on the force. We got to get it up to 30%, which is crazy because anybody who's ever been stopped by a woman cop before knows, especially as a guy, I can't tell you how many times I've been pulled over and I'm just looking at this lady like, if I didn't really care about the law, I could have my way in this situation. You better call some guys because it's not finna go down. So she's already playing this game where, and I don't know the parties of any of these people. I just know what they said. Oh, they're all Democrats. Okay, that makes sense.
All Democrats. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bro. That whole equal representation for cops. I don't believe there should be female cops, especially out there on the field. Yeah, so let alone 30%.
Exactly. We don't want to see them get shot in their city. We don't want to see them get hurt, man. Like,
nah, man.
We don't want that, man. So it's like desk duty, traffic, like the parking tickets, that was always to me where I seen women at best in the police force. You got like one that might make it through the cracks, but man, all these cities, you see Baltimore, that's your National Volleyball League one. Like they got the police commissioner from New Orleans. He had an interview. He had a female cop by his side, man. The commissioner of New York City is a woman, and in Philadelphia. So like these NBL cities, a lot of the police commissioners are women, man. Will we call them coaches or will we call them the defensive front? We don't know.
All I know is for the sake of the NBL, I want her to win again. Because I think the other two ain't gonna put in the work like she's going to. But we'll see because they both had some shit too. So
yeah, man. And we got here. Shout out to the Penguins, man. The Penguins, Trayon White. Whether the Penguins out here, we call them Happy Feet. We'll call them Happy Feet.
There we go. All right, you can run it.
If that crime is down. And we know that you can't address a member on the council to get money in the budget for violence prevention. When I got to the council, the budget for violence prevention was $0 because that's lack of vision. Now we at a 20-year high. Bad things happen when good people do nothing. I created a 33-document plan and presented it to the council and got money in the budget. And now we're at a place right now, we are in critical mass. It's just not east of the river, it's across the city because of lack of leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. So my plan is not just to increase the police, but create wraparound services, create better housing, mental health services, substance abuse, and wraparound services to address the whole community, not just locking people up. We need the police, but police is not the end-all solution to addressing crime in Washington, D.C. And I say that because in the height of the crack epidemic, we had over 5,000 officers, and it was indeed the murder capital of Washington, D.C.
Thank you, council member. Councilmember Robert.
Thoughts, man. Your thoughts. Your thoughts.
It's the same song, bro. It's the same song and dance. It's a song that never ends.
Yeah.
We need more money. What are we gonna do with the money? Knowing damn well money ain't gonna solve the problem. It's just lining up pockets.
Yep. He's trying to get them dreadlocks done, man. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to style out here, man. Trayon White. But let's get to the other brother. Let's get to the other brother.
Quavo want them M's. M's, nigga.
M's, boy.
White. Councilmember Robert White.
Thank you for the question. People across our city are afraid in every part of our city. And that is because as violent crime has gone up for the past 6 years, our mayor still has no plan, and that is not fair to the residents we serve. The mayor has told you that she has a plan, but throwing money at everything is not a plan. I've developed a comprehensive public safety plan that I'm ready to implement on day one. It's going to keep us safe now and 10 years from now. We are going to focus police resources on public safety, not use our police as a catch-all agency. We need them responding to crime, patrolling, and solving cases. I'm going to expand and coordinate our violence intervention programs to meet the need of the problem, because if our goal is to keep people safe, we have got to prevent more crimes. But I'm also going to get support to survivors of crime, because I've been to too many funerals of young people, watching other young people shed tears, and those tears are turning into hardened trauma, and that is going to replicate crime if we don't get them the resources that they need before they turn to acts of violence. So what we need is a real public safety plan. That's what I'm ready to implement on day one.
Thank you, Councilmember White. All right, now it gets interesting. We're going to move into the open discussion period. For the next 2.5 minutes, we're going to fade into the background a little bit and let the three of you continue the conversation on public safety. And let me toss it back to you, Mayor, to begin, because they both pointed some criticism at you and your administration on this issue. So I'll give you a chance to respond and then let the three of you take the conversation from there.
Well, you'll hear a lot of pointing the fingers and criticism to me. And we know that both gentlemen have been on the council for 6 years and have had every opportunity to work on public safety and public safety issues. We know what they chose to do was serve an ideology and not the residents of the District of Columbia, and making sure that we have the police officers that we need. I am proud that in my administration, I stood up a violence prevention agency. We started small and we have grown to every part of the city, making sure that we have people from the neighborhood who know the issues to connect people to the services that we have. Wraparound services, connecting to victims to services, we do that already, and we do a lot of it all across the city. What we have worked on now over the last year is making sure we can identify a framework to identify people who have used guns, who are likely to use guns again, or to be victims of violent crime, and connect them to services. We know that there are 200. We think that we could serve up to 500 a year. When we pour into that 200 to 500 people a year, relatively small group, we know that we can help their families and their associates.
White, you look like
I want to correct some things. The reason the council put a violence intervention program in the Office of the Attorney General is because the mayor wouldn't move. And so she was a roadblock to violence intervention. I'm glad she eventually came along, but not all the way in we need her to go further. When the mayor talks about defunding the police, that's a dog whistle. It is a shame that in the District of Columbia, we cannot find a way to stand up and say to our communities that we can protect you with things more than police. Our communities need police to keep us safe, but they deserve more than just police. That is what my comprehensive public safety plan gives us. That is what we have not gotten from our current mayor.
2.5 minutes goes fast.
Can I add to that before you skip that? And so here, both of these two saying that the council did and the mayor did, but I was present. I was present at the hearings prior to becoming a council member. And Councilman McDuffie introduced the NEAR Act, which was not fully funded, that had violence interrupters in the plan. And so when the mayor said she did that, she waited 3 years to fully implement that plan.
Councilmember, in order to keep us running on time here, we are going to need to commit to our
same time everyone else got.
I have a question for you.
Yep.
Councilmember White, last
The Dems is funny, man.
Bruh.
Dem be funny.
Man, this dude.
Because you got a couple things happening all at once. First off, you have a lady who I forgot how long they said she's already been mayor.
Yep.
Talking shit to the other two that they've done nothing when she's done nothing but make things worse. Yep. That's the first thing. So she's on her high horse, like, what have you niggas done? And they looking at her like, bitch, you've been in office for this long. Bitch, what have you done?
Man, shout out to Todd City, man. This sound like some SBE out here, man. Yeah.
And then we come back to this. This is the biggest thing. You have these two guys saying that throwing money at a problem isn't enough, while proposing a plan to throw money at.
Facts.
So I love it, man. I love the Dems. They're just these are the things that make the body bowl so strong and powerful. And this is why it exists. This is why we're here. Because of backwards ass logic like this. I love it.
Deserve, man. Let's get it popping, man.
last calendar year, there were 420 carjackings in the District of Columbia, just 150 arrests. 2/3 of those were juveniles. This is an issue that is making people scared to stop at red lights or to put gas in their car at night right now. What do you think the root cause of this crime is, and what would you do to stop it as mayor?
Well, I'm a young man growing up in this area who is considered an anomaly. Most people look like me, they come from where I come from, don't make it to become a council member, partly because there's been a divestment in youth and young adult services in DC. When I say that, I think about Old Red Clothes, Ketchum Red Clothes, Kramer Red Clothes, and Anacostia Red Clothes, Blue Red Clothes, number 11 Boys and Girls Club Clothes, and that's just in Ward 8. And so we can't say we care about the youth and young adults and divesting in the services. You hear parents saying, I want a mentor for my child. I want somewhere for my child to go after school. When we don't build something constructive for them to do, it leads them to do stuff destructive. And so under my leadership, my job is to put our money where our mouth is and invest in our young people so they can have a brighter future right here in our city.
Councilmember White, question is carjacking. What can you do to stop this?
For most of my youth, I was a failing student, counted out like a lot of the young people that we are seeing spiraling in our city. They are spiraling because our schools are not strong enough for children of color. 60% of Black and brown students are behind grade level, and that is one of the causes. One of the other causes is that we are not treating the mental health, the trauma that these young people are experiencing. We keep pointing at them and saying, you young people have failed us. The reality is that we have failed these young people, not giving them the outer school time programs they need, not giving them the mental health supports that they need. We have to do better for these young people, and they will do better in return. We have to hold them accountable when they make mistakes, but if we're doing our job, we're preventing them from making those mistakes.
So I'm going to say something a little different than my colleagues here, because if anybody promises you that the government can do it all, they are woefully mistaken. What we know is that strong kids, healthy kids come from strong families and healthy families, and how we pour into families.
Uh-oh.
What did she say?
Man,
what did she say?
Families? Did she say families?
That's what she said. That's what she said. Hey, let me ask you a question, Kamasi. Let me ask you a question, bro.
What's up? Let me know.
Whose responsibility is it to give young people things to do?
Man, that would have to fall on the parents, man. That would have to fall on the parents, man. You know what I'm saying? That falls on the parents, man. That falls on the family. If I'm saying it right. What's up, General Lisa?
I would think so. I mean, because even if you, which would mean that no matter how many programs you set up, if they don't want to do those things because the parents haven't, incentivized or even made it seem like these are good things to do, you're just setting up a bunch of things that kids just won't do.
Mm-hmm.
And again, lying in them pockets.
Let me ask you a follow-up question, man. Following SKC's, I think the episode he did about the rap in the schools. I think it was STEAM. Is that that's what y'all was talking about?
STEAM, yeah. Incorporating the arts into STEM.
Okay, so will they do that? Is that her response for the programs? Because it seems like we're gonna get into it, man. She does a 180 in like less than 30 seconds. So hold on 1 second. We about to get it.
Let's get it.
Matters. That's why it matters that we're investing in affordable housing, that we're investing in quality health care, and that we're doing it across all 8 wards. It also matters that we're investing in our schools, and why we can't turn back the clock on our schools and school reforms. The truth is, in the last 15 years, people have come back to our public schools. We have made our teachers the best paid and the best trained in the region. We have added pre-K3 and early childhood education, and we have put quality adults in those schools. And I am not willing to turn back. The truth is, we have to very much focus on our young people. This pandemic has upended their lives. They're coming back into school, finding it very hard to acclimate. And not only are they having problems in schools, but they're having and creating serious problems in the neighborhood.
Let's continue.
Yeah, so I want to add to that.
Let's continue this. I want to remind you, open discussion is open discussion for you. Okay. So all 3 of you discuss with each other what's different about your proposals. You all seem to have the same goal, but different ways of getting it.
Well, the reality is that we're here to investment in affordable housing, right? But we have not seen the return on that investment. We spent almost $1 billion in the last 10 years on affordable housing. Yet each and every day, I'm getting calls in my office saying, I can't find anywhere to live, and we're getting priced out, or we haven't gotten an inspection yet, or we are stuck outside. We need somebody to come pick us up. The reality is, for brown and Black people in the city, we haven't felt that investment. And we've seen 20,000 Black people leave this city in the last 10 years because that investment has become a slush fund for developers.
So let me say this. When it comes to young people, the mayor said we can't do it all. But when development wants to happen, we always got the time and resources. At some point, we have got to have the time and resources for young people in our city. When the mayor says people are coming back to our schools, no, we have displaced students from our schools. They're being replaced with others. When the mayor says we're paying our teachers more, yes, we are, but we're losing 20% of our teachers every year to go somewhere else and make less money. So we have fundamental problems in our city that are affecting our young people who need us to step up for them.
Hey, Lou, they turning down the bag in DC, bro. They turning down the bag in DC to go to another city. What is that telling you, man? Yo.
What they doing ain't working, bro. Whatever this lady's talking about she's been doing, it ain't working.
Nope.
And it demonstrates that This woman is so out of touch with what people want that it's not only is it ridiculous, and here's the crazy part about it, they'll vote for her again. They will vote for her again.
That is very true, man. That is very true, man. Because like she give me Michelle Obama vibes. When I first saw her and I first heard her voice, I was like, this sound like Michelle Obama that Barack probably was gonna be with. But he got Michelle, he got Big Mama. You know what I'm saying? Because she get that Michelle Obama vibe. You know, she got a little bit of she got that Keisha seeping out at times, man. You know,
Oh
it's
yeah.
seeping out at times.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, but it is, man. And Lawrence and Darryl, what's up with y'all, man? Glad y'all in the building. Shout out to my man Zach, man. That's one of my favorite characters, man. Zach was a pimp back in them days, man. Getting Kelly, getting Lisa, getting man, I forgot the middle one, the tall one. I forget it, but I remember her name. He was getting all of them, man. But let's get it going, man. Woo! The DC man is about to get spicy.
So I think what is very important. So we can talk about problems in our schools and in our families, but I will have to repeat that we have to work together as a community, family, church, neighborhoods to focus on the problems that we are facing with our young people, and they're very, very serious problems. We have made very significant investments in parks and recreation. We were the first, in fact, in the region to bring our parks and recreation back up last summer. The first in the region to have in-person learning for our schools, to make sure that our kids were connected to services. That is the way that we are going to make changes. We're going to bring them back in our buildings. We've added 3,000 kids in our middle school grades, and we had 9 straight years of growth in our schools, only impacted in the last year by COVID.
Before I ask my next question, I just want to remind the audience about the ground rules. I know you're passionate about the issues and you're passionate about your candidates, but if we can keep those to a minimum so that they can answer the question and folks in Nassau hear the answer to the question. Councilmember Robert White. The debate over school resource officers in schools has been a hot button issue. The council voted to phase out SROs, but Mayor Bowser proposed keeping them for the upcoming year. What is your position on keeping SROs in schools?
Look, the council voted to take school resource officers, police officers out of schools at the request of students who came to the council and said their schools felt like prisons. But I was also a troubled young man, and I am so lucky that the people who helped me and corrected me were teachers and not police officers, because my path would have been very different. Now, we have to continue to stand up for these young people who have made this request to us. We have an obligation to keep our young people safe. That doesn't mean that we need more armed police officers. We can have security guards without having traditional police officers. But we have a school system where there are more officers than there are guidance counselors and social workers, and that is the root of the problem. So we can't run away from the root of the problem. We have got to get right to it. If we want our young people to do better, to be safer, then we have to address their mental health. We can't keep bringing in people with guns and saying that's the way to keep our kids safe.
All right, Councilmember, your time is up. Councilmember Crayon White, you have 1 minute.
So for those who may not know me, I started this work as a youth football coach. I really got in.
I had to pause it right there, Lou. Football coach. Houseway.
I don't know, man. I have no idea.
Oh man.
He don't look like he. I mean, he look like he'll play. He passing the ball, he'll run it up the middle, kind of deal.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I ain't mad at that. I don't know how that correlates to him running for mayor, but I mean, you know, it is what it is.
He gonna run a nickel on DC, man. He gonna run that nickel, that quarterback sneak. And
That's it.
Honey Barbecue, statement here. Let's see, man. The social workers get stuff done unlike the police, man. What's your thoughts on that?
My bad. Them social workers get stuff done, unlike the police. Let's see. I mean, yeah, I guess.
Mm,
I don't really know the impact of social workers like that. I would have to take Honey Barbecue at the word because
yeah, me too.
I don't know what kind of work they do. To be my understanding, they are actually counterproductive. They actually spend most of the time tearing up families. But I'm probably wrong on that. That's outside my scope.
Mm. But let me get it going, man. We had to pause on that one, man. Football coach Trayon White, he does it all, man. He does it all. He said, "What's his win-loss record of using coaches as a credential?" And yeah, my bad, barbecue. It was a joke. We got you. I'm so sorry. Shout out to Honey Barbecue. But man, what is his win and loss record, man? I would like to know that now. Now I'm like interested to see. Did he coach the little Tykes? Did he coach? You know what I'm saying? Pop Warner. I don't know what they do out in DC, man. I think they do Pop Warner out there too. But man,
Entrenched by going beyond a football coach to a life coach, because in 2004, between 2004 and 2006, I lost 5 young men to homicide that were all under the age of 17. One was James Richardson, who got killed in Blue Senior High School. What I know is historically, our schools and around our schools have become more violent. While police is not the end-all solution to addressing crime, what I also realize is that our school security is not authorized to break up fights. That creates a double-edged sword. And so if the police is not there, and no one's there to break up fights escalate and become more violent. That means our students are more in jeopardy of getting hurt. I got a call about a month ago from a parent. She said, "Mr. White, can you come up to school? I'm trying to figure out what's going on." She said there's a group of parents waiting at the school trying to fight the parents and asking me, who am I there for, to try to jump me? This is the climate we're living in today. You see all around the world with the mass shootings happening among students and young adults. And so it's imperative that we keep our students safe with wraparound services, violence interventionists, police officers, and counselors inside of our schools.
All right, Mayor, you have 1 minute.
I think we've heard some concerns about our teachers and our teachers staying in our system, our principals and our principals staying in our system. And these are worthy concerns because they have had a heck of a last 2 years. They pivoted during COVID, they taught in virtual school, and now they're back in class rooms dealing with kids who are having trouble acclimating to being back in school. And the behavioral issues have been significant, and some of them have risen to the level that the council member just described, where parents are involved. Now is not the time. Now, I'll tell you, I told this to the council last year when they put it in place without a hearing, and they did it in the budget, and I raised it again this year. This is not the time to be removing officers that the children and administrators know. So here's the deal. We're not going to eliminate having police in schools. What you will eliminate is having police in schools that the children know and that the administrators know. And in fact, you're going to do the opposite of what you claim to do. You will have more arrests if you have officers that don't know the kids and can de-escalate situations.
Mayor Bowser, your time is up. You have your 2.5 minutes to open discussion.
We're returning to a very familiar false dichotomy, which is, we all care about the school to prison pipeline. We all care about mass incarceration of people of color. We all believe that Black Lives Matter. But when it is time to address the policies that lead to these problems, people want to move and hide and say now is not the time. Well, it's never going to be the right time to do the right thing. Now is the time that we start doing the right thing. And also follow the logic here. They're saying that our schools are unsafe. Right now, SROs are in schools. So logically, how is that the right answer if it's not working now? Fundamentally, what we are saying is we need to do something different.
Does anybody want to respond to that? Trayon White?
So in my campaign, I've hired approximately 100 youth in our campaign. And when you hear them speak, the number one issue that they're facing in traveling on the subway, on the bus to get to school is safety. And it's imperative as leaders, we make sure we put the preventive measures in place, not only keep them safe, but their families safe. We know that 40% of youth traveling from east of the river have to travel across the river because we don't have quality seats in all our schools. And so we have to be logical in trying to make sure we have adequate solutions to the problem. And it's not just about police, but it's about restorative justice. It's about peer-to-peer mentoring. It's about youth being active in their social engagement to decrease their own violence. The greatest influence on a young person is another young person. And our job is to empower the
Bruh, the greatest influence on a young person is a young person.
Hey, look, man, I'm actually surprised one of them actually said family, and we'll probably never, if I recall correctly, I don't think we really hear that anymore after this debate. But I gotta roll with Honey Barbecue on this. I don't understand, and I'll never understand why is it the government's responsibility to fix these things?
Indeed, that's the
Why?
thing, man. That's the thing.
So they want to say, and it's funny how they're kind of, he's not talking about the real issue. She's not talking about the real issue. I got the real issue, but nobody mentions culture. Nobody mentions family's not on that list very high. I'm not hearing values. I'm just hearing we have to do something. Mm-hmm. And so as long as the culture stays toxic, these people are just this is a clown show at this point, and they getting paid off of it. Mm-hmm. So I can't even be mad at them, man. Get y'all money.
Get y'all money, man. But, man, I'm waiting on. I was waiting on Shorty. She's on the other one in the middle of the debate, not the questioning team. Man, I can't wait for her to jump in, man. She's gonna jump in on cue. So we gonna get it going, man. But man, Trey Young, the influence for a young person, the most influence for another young person, you heard it, is another young person, man.
Parenting is done, man. It's just done.
Myself. It is finished. All right, I'm gonna hit play. I was muted.
Young people to decrease violence in their schools, and that's equal as important.
We're almost out of time, Mayor. I see you nodding your head.
No, I would add, and that's why it's been so important for us to stand up safe passage programs, which we've done, put credible messengers in our score, that the administrators have spoken up, principals who have the responsibility, and that's a huge responsibility. When we send our children into a building, that principal is responsible for them getting home to us safely. And they have asked to make sure that we're not only adding school nurses and mental health providers, which we are doing, but that they also have the appropriate security personnel.
Okay, our time is up.
Councilmember Trayon White, we're going to start with you on this next question. We're going to stay in the space of education. The pandemic really put a spotlight on areas of disparity and amplified them in many cases. And that's very clear in educational disparities between the district's white students and their Black and brown counterparts. My question is, how do you plan on making better use of funding and the district's budget to narrow that gap?
Let me say this. I believe it was 2019 while on the council. I received a budget in which 15 Ward 8 schools were underfunded. We used the student per pupil ratio to pay the schools. And these schools had almost the same amount of youth as they had before. And so we were trying to figure out what was going on. We talk about equity in the city. It has to go across the board, across the city. There's been a strategic divestment in youth. And this happened way before the pandemic, right? The pandemic highlighted what's happening throughout the city. And so we must not just think that the pandemic exacerbated it, but it showed that we are saying that we are the fastest growing education system in the country, where the reality is we're far behind. Over 70% of our youth in our school systems are not proficient on math and reading, and that's criminal.
Councilmember Robert White.
We spend $2 billion a year on public education in the city. And as the father of 2 young Black girls, I refuse to accept that it is okay that 60% of Black and brown students are behind grade level. That is not good enough. So here's what I'm going to do differently. I'm going to move with a sense of urgency, and anybody in our education system who doesn't have a sense of urgency has to go. We're going to keep our teachers by respecting them, replacing the flawed impact teacher evaluation system with one that respects our teachers and keeps the good ones in our classroom. We are going to try new things. We're going to do a massive expansion of trade and vocational education so that students who don't plan to go to college don't fall through the cracks. And we're going to try new things like pilot a public boarding school option for the parents who say, I work odd hours and I'm not home in the evening, my child needs supports, or to support the students like the Washington Met students whose school the mayor closed over their impassioned objections, who say we need a different type of environment. We're going to understand that there's no one size fits all education. We're going to catch every single student.
Councilmember. Mayor Bowser.
So I think you talked about how we're closing equity gaps, and we are, it is an imperative that a city as prosperous as ours does exactly that. We have used our per pupil funding formula to do that by focusing the at-risk formula so that the dollars follow the students who need them. The chancellor just this year reworked the formula so that we know for sure that at-risk dollars are going exactly where they're supposed to be. We have encouraged many schools in our district to use at-risk weight during the lottery, and we created early childhood centers at Stevens and Military Road schools that are citywide early child care schools with an at-risk weight. So we know that when we provide opportunities in neighborhoods and citywide, we can do exactly that. We also created a new Banneker High School in the center of the city where we made it larger so that there are more citywide opportunities, and we've proposed the same in Ward 3.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's move into the discussion.
Yeah, I want to correct something. The mayor's talking about at-risk funds. The mayor has been in office for 7.5 years, and those at-risk funds have yet to get to the students that need them, and everybody in the city knows that.
I'm on my mic. Hold on. She been there for 7.5 years. She's going for the Bloomberg special. She's trying to run 3 separate terms concurrently. Yeah, yo, Lou, what's up, man?
She's the Nick Saban of the body bowl for DC.
Oh, man. Yeah, you're right, man. Nick Saban. Damn. Greg Popovich. Fundamentals. Damn. I forgot.
And you know,
yeah, go ahead.
I'll tell you what else is crazy. My bad, bro. But here's something else that's crazy. My man said something about basically, did I hear this right? Making it so that teachers are more appreciated. Did I hear somebody say some goofy shit like that? The reason why that shit is goofy is because what good is it if teachers are appreciated if you can't go upside students' heads, if you can't discipline or correct students? You're welcome, baby. If you can't discipline or correct students, what good is appreciating the teachers?
I don't even know, bro. And here's the other thing, man. He just said it earlier. They leaving their high-paying teacher jobs to go take money elsewhere that is shorter. So if they not, I thought the pay was the appreciation. If you get paid pretty good, it's the appreciation right there. Wowzers, man. Yeah, Daryl. Yeah, man. Go ahead, Lou. My bad.
Nah, I just don't understand what good comes of appreciating teachers. If Hood, sit your ass down. Sit down. Hood just like, man, I ain't doing shit. I ain't doing nothing. Yeah. And you can't do anything. So what's the point?
Man, she going for them FDR numbers, man. 3 rings, man. She's going ham. She's like, look, woo, man, I think she more powerful than Michelle, but she ain't known yet, man. I don't know, man. I think if she wins this one, we might see in a presidential debate.
I want to hear one of them ask the simple question: What is a woman?
Oh,
let's see how they answer that question.
Yo, that is facts. And her conservatives in the building, man. He got a show coming up with Bernard Raleigh. Check it out. Put in the search engine Bernard Raleigh, and it should pop up. And make sure y'all check it out, man. I ain't gonna be here too long. We almost there, man. And we don't do the whole thing, but we almost there, man. Check out my homie right there, Hood Conservative, man. Let me get it playing though.
Schools are using the money that the law says must get to the students at risk of academic failure. The law says it must get to those students. It does not consistently. Schools are using it to cover basic gaps, basic teacher positions, because we have underfunded public education. And when you underfund that public education, there's no doubt that our students are not going to do well. And I say this, there is no equity in our city unless there's education equity.
One thing we have not done.
Mayor, respond to that, and then Councilmember.
One thing we have not done in this city, thanks to our taxpayers, is underfund education. Since 2007, when we have embarked on school reform, we have put over $10 billion in our school buildings. We have invested in our teachers with a competitive pay scale and training. We have made sure that we have capable adults providing mental health and counseling. We have done all of those things in our school. And the reason why our taxpayers trust us to do it is because we
Hold on. Did she say the trap payers instead of the taxpayers? I heard. Whoa,
the
whoa.
trap payers.
You know, it was seeping out
The
a little
trap
bit.
payers.
She said the trap payers.
Yeah, and you already know, like once somebody says something about the schools being underfunded, it's already an L, bro. You I'm looking at the budget allocated for school. And nah, man, they got plenty of money. It's just that, we know where that goes to.
And what's crazy about DC, because I had a couple friends that I work with in DC, they from DC. You graduate from their high schools, you literally can go to any college and pay the in-state tuition fees. So you're not paying out-of-state tuition fees. Like, let's say Free Zone's coming from Michigan and you're going to California college. He'll have to pay the out-of-state tuition fees. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, DC got a lot of advantages that a lot of people in states don't have, with the in-state tuition in college, many programs. You're right there for federal internships. It's so many opportunities, yet the schools is still no bueno. They basura. Just throw it in the trash. Throw it in the trash. Because it's like you got all that stuff over there. They can't read in the black and brown school districts. You know what I'm saying? Which are like maybe in Southeast and maybe at best Northeast, man. Northwest is like they probably doing better because they right by shout out to Silver Spring, man. Maryland, they right there. I don't know.
Crazy. Just crazy, man. Just crazy.
We have mayoral accountability and council oversight. And what my colleagues here have said is they're going to back away from that. They're going to turn the clock back 15 years. And so what I fear that we could be doing in a white administration is talking about which boxes are where instead of how we invest in our kids. And that's what we are going to do.
I can't help it no more. Here we go. She's on the offense now. She ready to go. She's bringing out the white people into this, the white administration. She did the little sister thing where, they do the bop or something like that. I don't like Oprah used to do. She did, man, she's now informed right now. She's confident. I was with Trayon White because I wanted to see, shout out to the short, short people, man. I got love for you. I ain't short, but I got love for you, man. And my man over there, man, I call him I'm random light skinned singer dude, man. He trying, man. He's trying.
Let's call him Boozer. Boozer.
Carlos Boozer. Carlos Boozer.
Mayor
what I'm saying?
Booze.
Carlos Boozer trying, man, but it ain't hitting like that. Trayon got the streets, but right now it is Muriel's time. She's looking like Cardi B out there, like Sasha Banks out there, and these are the jobbers out here. But whoo, she said she's in her mode. Let's
Are we going to say things that are blatantly untrue?
And just another reminder to our very passionate audience, we want to make sure that they get a chance to speak as well.
So let me correct something. Since 2007, under the Fenty administration and under the Gray administration, we closed down over 42 schools in the name of consolidation. To date, we have not seen more dollars in schools. In fact, classrooms are busting at the seams. And DC has become a place where they're teaching the kids how to pass the test. And those who do well go on to do well. And those who don't get stuck in the cracks. And so we have to realize that students are whole people. And we have to ensure that we are educating the whole child. And we're not. So we can't keep saying 2007.
you be. You gotta educate the whole child, man. Hold on, I got Freeze on Lou right back here, man. You gotta educate the whole child, man. You gotta educate the whole child, man. That's what you gotta do. What's up, Freezo?
Yeah, I loved that part when he said that shit.
Yeah,
The whole child, not half the child, not a quarter of the child. The whole child. If we don't educate the whole child,
man.
Then then the whole streets will suffer.
You know, right now, like you paying like $11.99 a whole pound of T-bone, maybe 15 where you at, 20 some places. He getting the whole child. He want half, man. He want the whole.
Almost sound like drug talk.
Because
I'm going to violate Mo's rule and interrupt.
But let me finish my thought, though. Every time I talk, you cut me off, man. Come on, man.
We're over time.
At least got to close my statement. That's
Mayor Bowser, I want to talk to you about housing. It's a critical issue.
Yep.
It's no secret that affordable housing has been a long problem in DC, a problem that has been made worse by this pandemic. So, Mayor, what have you done on affordable housing and improve this problem for the people who are struggling to find housing they can pay for?
Well, what we have done is focus on making sure that we have a plan across the entire city. I made it a hallmark of my tenure in office, starting as an ANC commissioner, a council member, and now mayor, to create affordable housing. DC and affordability didn't become a problem when I became mayor. We're a dynamic city. We attract a lot of people. We attract a lot of businesses, and therefore, it's more expensive to live here. I made a pledge to put $100 million in every single year. We've been $400 million in the last 2 years, $500 million for the next year, which will get us 36,000 units. I am the only mayor across the country who has made the type of investments that we've made in our house production trust fund. The only mayor in this region, I have to say, the only mayor in this region to set a goal. We've challenged all of the DMV to match our goal, 36,000 units.
Mayor, I'm going to be a bad guy and cut you off. And because I cut off Councilmember Tran just a minute ago, we'll start with you.
And so we have to rethink how we are spending money in the Housing Production Trust Fund. As a council member, I had to rewrite the law because Kathy Patterson, who was our auditor, said that the government was breaking the law and how we spent that money. It's facts. And so what we have to do is rethink how we spend that money. There are a lot of dilapidated properties in DC that we can rehab. DC has a plethora of vacant and blighted properties in our own portfolio. We have to invest in those houses, build them up, and get people in those houses, because we know when we don't do that, we exacerbate the homelessness and the hopelessness here in Washington, DC. So as mayor, that's on a priority list to make sure we are getting people into quality living situations, to make sure they have access to health care, and make sure they have access to a quality education, which has not happened in 8 years and $120 billion later.
Oh man, Friezo Lou, DC's a very interesting place. I'll tell you why, man. If you apply for a DC job, they show preference if you are a DC resident. So homeless people can go get ID and become a DC resident and get a job so they don't become homeless. I don't know, man, Trayon, man. I don't know. A Tourism is in the building, man. A Tourism, you want to stop in, man? Feel free. I'm gonna drop the
Interesting.
link. Yep. Yeah, cause
Interesting.
it's similar in New York where like they'll hire the in city residents over out of the city or out of state. They'll do that. We know DC ain't no state, but they prefer
Right.
to have the district residents, man, working and in those city jobs. And there's plenty. Police, they got cleaning. I've seen the subway station. All over. DC's pretty much federal, man. Like federal and its own little district running. So I don't know, man. Trayon, man.
Uh,
Woo. She got you on the ropes, homie. She got you on the ropes. But man,
this sound like how the Maggles and Daggles be in the space.
there you go. There you
Women be
go.
beating them up.
There you go. Man, it's like a sweet honor. Shout out to I forgot her name. Sweet Honor Ginger Rose, I think is her name. But she be having them dudes on the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
And here come the defense.
Councilman Robert White.
Thank you. Your question you asked was what the mayor has done to address affordable housing. She said she spent a lot of money. Look, if you ask me how I fixed the hole in my roof and I say I spent a lot of money, guess what? I probably still got a hole in my roof. So we have spent a lot of money, but people have not seen the value, because what the mayor characterizes as affordable housing is focused on people who make more than the average, the median Black family income for Black families. That's why we're seeing displacement. What I'm going to do as mayor is I'm going to stand up to developers and say, if you want to be a part of our community, you have to build the housing we need. We need housing for the CVS clerk that makes $35,000, housing for our government workers that make $50,000, $60,000. We have to take a different approach to how we develop housing on public lands, using ideas like community land trust and social housing. And most importantly, we have to protect our existing housing, because people in the city are living in deplorable conditions because Mayor Bowser's administration is not enforcing bad housing conditions.
So let me ask I thought it was discussion.
I want to move on to the mayor here.
So I think what you heard is we don't need money for affordable housing.
Nobody heard that.
So all
Nobody
of
heard
these
that.
things that
Nobody
they
heard
say
that.
they're going to do, hold
Nobody
it,
heard
hold
that.
it,
Oh,
hold it.
Nobody heard that.
oh, 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 uh-oh,
Woo!
uh-oh.
Hey, look, that picture says it all. That picture says it all. Look at that still shot,
Uh-oh.
man. She got her hands out like, nah, homie.
Full screen that. Uh-oh.
Screen it. We're gonna full screen it. We're gonna full screen it. We're gonna full screen it real quick. You know what I'm saying? There we go. There we go. Ooh,
Uh-oh.
look at them hands. Man, Trayon look tight, man. Trayon look tight. Trayon, man, fight back, Trayon. And Carlos Bluza, woo. She been sending shots at you all night. Damn. Woo. It's getting testy in there. It's getting testy in here, man. This is Magomania. Hopefully they do more mayoral candidate debates. I want to do all of them. I especially wanted New York already passed. I wanted to do that one, but already passed. I'm going to see if Baltimore. No, Baltimore already did one. Oh man, whatever city's next, we're gonna do it. And yeah, Truman was right.
Baltimore is strong, bro. Baltimore is strong.
Baltimore is
But
strong.
he just learned a valuable lesson on watching how you frame your sentences. Because nobody actually heard that, but if you run it back, she's not too far off. I mean, she basically twisted what he said, but nigga, you said it.
You did say it.
And it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Check and checkmate. You finna lose, Boozer. You finna lose, Booze.
Oh man. And he's gonna go further into that, man. He's gonna go further into it, man. All right, shout out to A Tourism, man. That statement speaks volumes on A Tourism. I'm going to bring it back. Daryl 90210 says social housing, Barnes. You know, and of course, man, Lawrence, you right, man. A Tourism is the Daggle Slayer, man. We call him Blade out here. He's slaying them out here. You know what I'm saying? He's slaying them out here, man. So let's get it going, man. We're not gonna be here too long. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's bring it back on. What I just do. All right, there we go.
Right. Hold it. So what I'm telling you is what I've done, because it takes money to do it. So if somebody is telling you that they're going to build housing and they're not going to have developers and they're not going to put public monies, they're not going to build any housing. So that is the truth. So you can look at my record, it's replete. I have from ANC commissioner to council member to now, I just left an affordable housing development in Ward 4, where we created 88 units for seniors, where I just left an affordable housing unit in Congress Heights. I got to be able to speak.
Again.
So I'm baffled at
Hold up. I'm sorry. I got to be able to speak.
We got to let our candidates speak. So once again, we ask you in the audience so that
y'all better let Big Mama
speak. And
speak.
our audience at home can hear as well.
Okay.
Bro, she said the hold up. Hold up. She said hold up. What? Hey, man. And my man, the funeral director said, yo, he gave y'all 2 warnings. He gave 2 warnings to the crowd. Y'all keep playing. He gonna bring Shorty in the middle. So hold on.
Okay, so my point is this. I have a record of building affordable housing and supporting quality development in all 8 wards. And I'm the only one who can say that.
And so let me just speak clearly. When residents call my office or anyone's office trying to get housing, we have to call Department of Human Services. One lady called the office and said, Mr. White, I'm trying to get housing. Can you help me? Because when I went to Virginia Williams, they asked me, where was I sleeping? And if I told them I was sleeping in the hallway, they would call CFSA to call on my children, because my children are in the hallway. We created more barriers to housing under this administration than 2 administrations combined. The laws has changed. And so if we are saying we are going to create housing for all and pathway to the middle class, let's really do that, because it has not happened. And I have a plan to fix it, to create equity in housing. Real quick, when I hear the council member talk about the community land trust is in Ward 8 right now, called the Douglas Community Land Trust. You don't believe me? Look it up. It's not about talking the talk, but it's about walking the walk, because everyday people in DC are not feeling the pressures.
With expired time on this segment.
Every time. Goddamn.
Oh, Quavo.
Yeah, man. He was going. He about to go out the commentator. Like, you ain't about to cut me off again.
Yeah, bro. I'm sick and tired of y'all cutting me off, man. I'm sick and tired of y'all. Y'all know who I am, man. I'm motherfucking Quavo. Y'all got a question? If y'all cut me off again, I'm calling the boys, Offset, and we going in, man. We going in, and we finna take off. Sick of this, man. Y'all letting Big Mama talk and doing all this, carrying on. I'm sick of it, man. Now let me get to my solution.
He about to resurrect his 5, man. You know about that 5 shot there, but we know about that 5, man. He about to resurrect.
Yeah.
Like Naruto or something like that. He gonna be coming in like the Thriller video on you.
So make
makes you feel better. I didn't get to rebut that one.
You gotta get a clock or something,
I didn't get any time on that one, council member, if it makes you feel better.
Let's start with you then. Councilmember Robert White. Vacancy rates, including office vacancy rates, are high in the district post-pandemic, and even as we're on the tail end of the pandemic, really. Many people are also working from home. As mayor, what will you do to bring businesses and workers back into DC?
Since I got to the council, I've been forward thinking. Before the pandemic, the vacancy rate downtown in commercial buildings was 14%. That is why 5 years ago, I started pushing the mayor to convert older office buildings into workforce and affordable housing so that we could create 24-hour life downtown. The mayor pushed off the idea, shelved it, said, no, it's a ridiculous idea. Now we are saying, oh, that's a good idea. We should do it. But we're 5 years behind. We should have been doing this 5 years ago. We also have to understand that, as you said in the question, most people don't have to work from the office anymore. So what we want to do is make sure that our downtown is attractive to people who are working virtually. Just because they're working virtually doesn't mean they're working at home. We can have a vibrant downtown, but we have to first understand that it is not going to look the way it did before the pandemic.
Councilmember Trayon White, I want to give you an opportunity to respond. You have 1 minute.
So to that end, I was trying to explain before this invisible clock came up 3 times. That it's about putting our money where our mouth is, right? We talked about the Douglas Community Land Trust, also have a bill pending, waiting to get funded by the mayor for the fourth year.
You got the budget.
Called displacement free zones, where we freeze the taxes around areas hardest hit by development, because we built 14th Street, U Street, 8th Street, all across the district. Those residents and businesses who were originally there are no longer there anymore. We're socially engineering gentrification under this administration. And so
Finish your statement.
my plan is about responsible development. We also have a plan to get more people into home ownership. We have an 81% wealth gap between blacks and whites in DC because we don't own our own businesses and we don't own our own homes in our community. And that has to change. That's going to change now under the new leadership of Trayon White for mayor. So don't just stand there. Do something.
Mayor Bowser, we'll give you 1 minute to respond.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Vacancy rates are high in the district post-pandemic.
Historically, what has happened when the government has worked to get people into homes?
Man, there's a waiting list. There's a waiting list, and there's a waiting list. And not everybody's gonna get in there either. So, and then on top of that, you're gonna bring the affordable housing downtown. Baltimore is what is going to be DC, because that's the difference, I think, between Baltimore and DC, is that the downtown is not too far from the hood. It's literally like a block separating. I think that block is called Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Yeah, and David hit it right on the head, bro. Fannie Mae.
Oh yeah.
Add to that. Inflation out the ass, possible recession coming. You're going to throw all these people in houses that they probably won't be able to afford to live in. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Come on, Quavo.
They about to, that's the best plan to do it, Give people this temporary housing thinking it's permanent. They can't afford it. They get bought out, and then new people come in. It's called gentrification, baby. Even though it's already gentrified. Oh, man.
Many people are also working from home. As mayor, what have you done and what will you do to continue to bring businesses and workers
Sure.
back?
So thanks for that question. And I've heard a couple of times the mayor didn't fund something. Just a little primer on how our budget works. The mayor proposes the budget and the council approves the budget. So between the two of them, they have 6 budgets that they could have funded any and all of their priorities in $19.5 billion. Are the initiatives that I propose and want to get done, get funded, get through, and get implemented? So let me talk about bringing back the downtown, because really that's what this election is about. It's about DC's comeback, and who do you trust to lead it? And the fact is, I have led this city through a lot, especially in the last 2 years. I keep my promises. I do what I say I'm going to do, and I don't waffle. And so what we are going to do is we are going to continue to work with the business community to fill the spaces that are vacant, to attract new employers, to work with the council on the economic development tools that we need to do that. We are going to attract housing, and we have a real plan to do it in the downtown and
Mayor
bring
Bowser,
people, tourists, festival goers, conventioners to the downtown.
All right, you know the drill. Open.
You know the drill. You know the drill. But she ain't stopping. Man.
So you're gonna have a whole bunch of people living downtown, smack dab in the middle of the summer of joy.
Summer of joy, man.
Oh man.
DC, man, the summer of Floyd, man. They were early on with it. What up, Hot Rod? Be more. Hey, Hot Rod, man. They trying to turn DC into Baltimore, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nah, you got the West Side is right there. The East Side is kind of smack dab in downtown too a little bit, but man, Cherry Hill, oh, it's all right there. They all right there. It's about to be popping in DC. I ain't gonna be there, but yeah, I'm gonna run this for probably 10 more minutes. I ain't gonna do the whole thing. I got my man Conservative on there with Bernard Riley, and they're gonna talk about them stats, you know what I'm saying? So let's play a little bit more. We'll get a little bit more commentary, we'll be out of here.
Discussion. Robert White, Councilmember Robert White, do you want to respond?
I just want to clarify in case the mayor didn't understand the office to residential conversion.
Spicy.
I'm sorry, she does understand. She just continues to mischaracterize deliberately.
Oh, good comeback.
What the mayor mischaracterized is that I did fund the office to residential conversion. It was a plan that they decided to shelve. But that is why we need a forward-thinking mayor, not a reactive mayor. What we have had for the past 8 years is a reactive mayor. This time calls for somebody who is going to connect the dots in a way that has not happened in the past 8 years. Understanding that this is an opportunity for folks who have been left behind, an opportunity to do downtown in a way that it hasn't been done before, but it is going to require somebody who's bold enough to try new things, and we are not seeing any new ideas come out of this.
Councilmember, I do want to give Councilmember Treyon White an opportunity
Talk your shit.
Get in, Treyon.
Yes, I just want to say we are the nation's capital. And every time we go to Vegas to these conferences, there are businesses thriving and eager to come to the city. What we have to do is incentivize to stay here, because we know that when we empower businesses, they hire from the community. I was the one that created what is now called the Dream Grant in DSLBD to give government dollars to local small businesses to stay in business prior to the pandemic. So if we want our business to stay and thrive here and build more businesses in our vacant and blighted properties downtown, we have to have a strategic investment to make it work. We have all these studies going on every year. We pay for these studies, but there's no implementation.
All right, that is our time, Councilmember Treyon White. Thank you.
All right. Mayor Bowser, whether we're talking about the problem of homelessness or whether we're talking about the challenges in our school communities, one other thing the pandemic showed us are the significant gaps in mental health services.
Absolutely.
How do you plan to address that gap in order to make sure mental health services are available?
Hey, you got an echo,
all
bro.
DC residents that need them?
Well, first of all, I'm very proud of the work.
Is that I got an echo? Let me mute myself.
Yeah, you got an echo.
That we have done over the course of many years,
good.
probably more than 15 years, and making sure all DC residents, most DC residents, 8% of people have access to health insurance, and we should all be proud of that. In fact, what we have done is we have expanded that so that even our Alliance program is easier for people to access, and we were able to get that accomplished in this budget. I convened a healthcare systems transformation Transformation Committee, and one of their recommendations was that we create sobering centers in the district, which we will launch. We think that we need two, one in Ward 1 and one in Ward 6 to help with our DBH services, especially for people who are experiencing homelessness, that we can get them into a safe place where they can stabilize and get connected to treatment. For our young,
okay, we'll come back to it in the open discussion. Councilmember Trayon White.
What I fully understand is that hurt people, but I also understand that heal people, heal people. Growing up in extreme trauma, we have not done enough as a district to address the mental health and trauma in our communities. Me personally, every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. this morning, I sit in front of my therapist on Zoom now, but to address the trauma that I've experienced as a young Black man, burying 250 individuals right here in my community. And so we have to first re-educate people about the services they need, and we have to get our government to respond. I have to call Deputy Mayor Gildock when I go to a crime scene and kids out there, and there's been a mass shooting in the neighborhood, saying, where are the first responders? We say these things, we have these people in the budget, but when I'm there, the government is not there. The police is there, the detectives is there, and the community is there, but the behavioral health responsibility that's supposed to be in the community is absent. So as mayor, I will make sure they are responsive and addressing family issues every day, in school, out of school, and in our communities.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Robert White, do you have a minute?
I frequently say that there are two kinds of people. There are people who have mental health concerns, who know they have mental health concerns, and people who have mental health concerns who don't know they have mental health concerns. But it's something that we all have to be paying attention to. If there is a silver lining in the pandemic, it is the increased attention to the need for mental health services. That is why I've been working with the University of the District of Columbia to create a pipeline of mental health professionals, because right now we don't have enough professionals to meet the need. I'm creating a scholarship so that any district resident who has a bachelor's degree can get their master's in counseling or master's in social work for free. After we establish that with the University of the District of Columbia, I want to spread it to the other universities across our city, and then I want to push it down to high school so that our people from our community can get bachelor's and master's degrees in mental health work and serve the cities that they live in.
Thank you. We'll open it up now for discussion.
Bro, this shit makes no fucking sense to me, man. In a time where Blacks are the most educated, they want more educated people.
Yeah,
and this is supposed to solve the problem of what?
I don't know. But shout out to Daryl 90210, because this is key. He says, I believe him about being traumatized, finally a grain of truth. And here's the thing, but the guy proposing that they go to the high schools and, try to, market to these kids to go to college and get their master's in social work and all this other stuff. Those people are traumatized. So you're going to have traumatized people trying to help traumatized people. But he said, heal people can only heal people. Oh man. No man, I'm gonna find me a debate about that one. We're gonna do that one next. I'm gonna find me one of that one. Ooh, man, spicy, man. Let's finish a little bit off this, then we'll get our final thoughts and head over to Bernard's, man. I'm glad, man. We got 7 deep in here. I'm glad y'all here, man.
Sorry.
Mayor, do you want to?
I will just add, I think that the council members and I agree that we need to continue to focus on getting trauma-informed services in our communities. We have a program where we created 10 family support services centers in wards 5, 7, and 8, and they're in communities, and they are staffed by people from the community, where we can bring our services of the government closer to where people need them. Our Office of Victim Services and Justice Grants similarly provides grant funding to community serving agencies that are providing that trauma care.
Do either of the council members like to?
Yeah, the only thing I would add, and I agree with the mayor, but the only thing I would add is that there's an acute mental health need in our schools that we have to address urgently. There's an acute mental health need in our in homeless encampments that we have to address urgently. And like other jurisdictions, we have got to be serious about helping these students and helping our unhoused residents in a way that doesn't further traumatize people who already have mental health issues.
Okay. All right, Fitz, you want to take the next question?
All right, we'll move on. We'll stay in the healthcare realm here. Councilmember,
They don't want to hear that shit.
DC Policy Center did a study, and it found, not surprising.
You heard that deafening silence? You heard that deafening silence? Like, nigga, they don't want to hear that shit.
You saw that affordable housing, man. They was clapping, man. It felt like the Apollo. You know, when somebody go to Apollo, they kill the show. That's what it felt like. Man.
Like, I want one of them to be like, yo, I don't really think that we should do anything. I think we should believe in our people and equip them. Boo!
Yeah,
do something for us.
Yep.
Oh, shit,
I wonder,
man.
because they say here in the title, DC Democratic Mayoral Debate. Will they have, Republican, possibly independent, all three of them debating? I want to see that one, because if they do, I will do that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's where you're masculine. Like, let's be real, bro. These two men ain't masculine, man. They daggles. They're probably, I don't know if they're born to single moms or whatever, but I can definitely the daggle is over the daggleness is over 9,000.
9,000.
And the maggleness is as well. So
yep.
It's like the Democratic Party just knows how to attract bitch ass niggas.
Ooh.
So
that is a fact, though. Man.
And I'm surprised I haven't heard. I mean, I've heard trauma and all this stuff. I'm surprised I haven't heard, slavery, Jim Crow, any of that stuff. So I'm actually impressed with this debate, because I haven't heard. They haven't hopped back in the time machine at all. So
man, we saw that. I think it was SKC or her server. One of them put on that commercial kind of political ad with to do with a noose. I said, man, what if they would have kicked the chair? Yo, like
bro, yeah, bro. And the funniest part about that, to me, the funniest part of that whole thing was when he said in September, or no, he said in November, we will heal.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I would heal sooner. I would choose to heal sooner, but I got some shit I got to do. So we got to push it back to November. But when November hits, you know what I'm saying, we will choose healing. Right now we can't choose it because, I got pussy lined up. I got money to get over here. I got to get my hair cut. You know what I'm saying? I got to ball with the fellas. But once I'm done with all of that, we will choose healing.
We will choose, man. I'm gonna say slavery's akin to herpes now, man. It goes away sometimes, but it always keeps on right back stronger than ever, man. So
that flare is real, bro. That flare is too real. Man. That flare up.
Like Dave Chappelle with the STD episode, man. He's always around.
The knee park high. See you in hell, motherfuckers.
Surprisingly, the need for healthcare in Latino communities and Black communities is much higher than it is in white communities. It's one thing to identify a problem, though. It's another thing to come up with a plan to fix the problem. It shows a large gap in that demand right now. What is your plan to address this gap and get health care to the people who most need it? And as we've seen in the pandemic right now, those gaps are wide.
Well, my plan is already in motion. I can talk about what I'm going to do, but I want to talk about what I have done and how we're going to expand those same type of plans and leadership across the district. When we didn't have a hospital in Ward 8, I worked with the Bowser administration, also Councilmember Gray, to ensure we can have a state-of-the-art hospital east of Anacostia River. It's not just about a hospital, it's about building a health care system. We also opened in 2 urgent care facilities east of Anacostia River. So it's about finding partners and I have a Ward 8 Health Council who advises me on what to do to address healthcare in the community. I listen. Part of being a leader is listening, and not just listening, but taking action. So from that council, we advise several plans to implement strategies to have scattered sites for healthcare systems that work for everyday people, including a hospital and 2 urgent care facilities right here in Ward 8. And that's the type of leadership we need across the district to ensure that equity and healthcare is a priority in this administration.
Mayor, you want to take a minute on this?
Absolutely. And you are right that a light was shown on our healthcare disparities, but they existed before. And some of the differences between the Black experience and the white experience has to do with generational stress, anxiety, and race.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I knew it was coming. Don't let me down, Dems. Gotta bring up the victimhood. I love it. Generational. Oh God.
She pulled out the Uno card, man. He was winning. Then she drew draw 8 on him.
Racism. And so we have to acknowledge that, but also pour into how we can do what we can do in the right now to close those gaps. So what council member acknowledges the work that my administration did to finally bring a state-of-the-art hospital east of the river and to make sure that the district got out of the business of running it. So we have a partnership with an academic partner in their health plan that has a reputation that people will be able to trust and go to that hospital. So we've been able to do that, including creating the urgent care centers, but also bringing food and fresh food to communities. When I first ran in Ward 8, people said we have to create more grocery stores. And so our plan and our model was to pour into local businesses that have been successful in the city and help them be their partner in opening in Ward 8 and Ward 7. And so we'll have 3 new opportunities, and we know healthy food helps with healthy people.
Councilmember Robert White.
So when I talk to residents in Ward 7 and 8, they consistently tell me that they feel left behind, that they feel forgotten. And one of the things that they point to is the lack of medical services. I do applaud the mayor for her work and Councilmember Gray's work on bringing a hospital to Ward 8. I think we also know that we need more than just the hospital. We need a medical system that includes urgent cares, that includes community-based medical centers. But I think we also have to make sure that we are incentivizing local practices, both our doctors, physicians, pediatricians, but also mental health professionals to locate their practices east of the Anacostia River so that residents in Ward 7 and 8 don't have to travel across the city. The other thing we have to do, and technology allows us to do this, is continue to push the limits on telehealth so that people have more access to seeing their doctors without having to travel.
I want to open discussion here.
Damn.
So am I to understand that they got rid of hospitals? That's what they make it seem like. They at some point in time they got rid of hospitals that were in major areas. And now the plan is to build them back.
I guess because like they had forgot that it's a bad hospital in DC. If somebody from the area might know that I forget the name of that hospital, man. It was horrible, man, and they had to close it down, man. And then everybody goes downtown, which is not really that far. Like downtown is not far from where they talking about East Anacostia. It's a train, it's a bus away. It's a walk away, if you want to walk or ride a bike. They got them bike lanes over there. So all this, saying, oh, we got to put stuff in these 2 wards. I don't know, man. DC's not like, I don't know, like, I wouldn't say it's like Buffalo, where you can't go anywhere unless you got a car. You got multiple ways to get around. So I don't know, man. I don't know. This dude ain't even getting no response, man. It's looking bad for him, man. It's looking bad. Trayon looking like he could give a little bit of pushback to her, but man, she's looking like LeBron out here. Let me turn on mic so I don't get no echo. And then
Obviously, we've gone through 2 years of this pandemic now. So What have you learned? What have you learned about how our healthcare system works and doesn't work? And what would you do if elected to change that?
One of the things that concern me is our shift in healthcare providers. We changed the contract at least 2 times in the last 4 years. I met with a group of doctors, healthcare professionals saying they're having a hard time billing and getting the money they need to take care of the patients who are in dire need, and most of those are east of Anacostia River. And so we have to streamline services through Healthcare Finance Agency, and we have to make sure that when we are leading our city, that we have to take into account and listen to those who are providing and doing the work, because we don't know everything as leaders. And that's important that we surround ourselves with people who know what's going on to ensure they can do their job so we can do our job more efficiently. And in this administration, we struggled doing that during the pandemic, changing healthcare providers twice.
Councilmember White?
The pandemic has highlighted health inequities that we have already known about. When you look at the entire region, the neighborhood with the highest life expectancy and the neighborhood with the lowest life expectancy are both in the District of Columbia, separated by only about 3 miles. This is because there are issues with access to medical services, which we spoke about a minute ago. But we also understand the impact that housing instability has on people's health, that the lack of access to fresh food has on people's health, that the stress of poverty concentrated in certain parts of our city has on people's health. So when we talk about health inequities and how we solve them, we have to know that we can't just solve them with hospitals and clinics. We have to solve them by going to the root of these problems and fixing those.
Mayor?
So you asked one of the biggest things we learned about our healthcare system.
Man,
This is really bad.
We are very focused on solutions, and that is the shortage of nurses.
It is bad, bro. And somebody in the crowd said, "What is the root?"
Yeah, bro.
Yo, they're
This
not
is
feeling that dude at all. Damn, the light
arguing about who
this for
could
him.
spend the least amount of money. Like when you talk about access to healthcare, I don't know how DC is structured, so I'm not even gonna comment on that. But I mean I agree with Booz to a certain extent, because when you talk about healthcare, most of healthcare is actually something that gets taken care of before you even get to a hospital. So your diet, your daily habits, do you exercise? These kinds of things are actually healthcare, and what they're actually talking about is medical care. It's a completely separate issue.
Yeah.
So if you don't have access to healthy food, if you don't have access to well, I can't even say quality gyms, because you could work out anywhere. But if you're not doing these things, then those increase your probability of actually needing medical care.
And living also in a metropolitan area, you could pretty much be in shape and get to those places. Like you're not in a rural area, like I said, Buffalo, or like somewhere in Alabama where they don't have maybe buses or trains and all these other fixtures to get around. These people have buses, trains, metro access, which is a bus that takes you around for the handicapped and older people. They have multiple ways to access the things that they're saying that they do not have, man. This is, like you said, this is bad, man. And the more they talk, and she's just like, as soon as she dropped the slavery talk, she won.
Yeah.
It's over. It's over, man. So let's do a couple more minutes, and then we all gonna head to conservative, man. Gotta go check I'm running into the time of him, man. But let's do a couple more minutes, man. This is woo.
Hey, put the 1.25 on the speed.
in our healthcare system. And in an emergency, what that means is you had nurses leaving their own families, working before vaccinations, working after vaccinations, and a lot of them now leaving the profession because of what they experienced in COVID. So we are focus on working with all of our healthcare providers about how we can support an increased pipeline of nurses. We created a scholarship called DC's Futures, where we're working with UDC and Trinity and Catholic to make sure that we are supporting our residents to get into those good paying jobs. And more than that, when I talked earlier about breaking ground on a new hospital in Ward 8 that's going to open in 2024, it was a part of a larger agreement. And the second part of that agreement will get us a brand new hospital at Howard University on Georgia Avenue and centers of excellence at Howard that the district will support.
And we're going to move on to another segment today.
All right, Fitz, thank you. We wanted to do things a little differently for the debate. This wraps up the first portion of the debate. Candidates will have to be a little more concise in their answers for this next segment. We want to move on to our quick response questions. Only one candidate will be asked each question, with 30 seconds for the moderator to ask the question and 30 seconds for a response. I will start with Councilmember Robert White. For years, safety issues have plagued Metro. Most recently, 60% of Metro's fleet was pulled from service after a derailment. The agency's general manager and COO resigned after half of Metro's train operators failed to finish a recertification process. Who should be held accountable for these safety issues, and how do you restore trust in an agency that many believe is no longer responsible, or reliable rather? You have 30 seconds to respond.
The management at Metro have to be held responsible. This is an agency with historic maintenance backlogs, but we have to get on top of them. We have to have a plan. The District of Columbia has to play an outsized role in directing this, because the Metro is the center for our city, but it is not the center for Maryland and Virginia. So we have to play the leadership role. We have to make sure that the board is full of people who are transportation and engineering experts who are there to find and solve the problems. That is the only way, but we've got to get people riding Metro again. That means it needs to be reliable.
All right, those are your 30 seconds. Mo.
Mayor Bowser, you launched the Vision Zero initiative back in 2015 with a goal of achieving 0 fatalities on DC roads by 2024. According to government data, traffic fatalities have actually gone up each of the last 3 years, from 27 in 2019 to 40 in 2021. So in 30 seconds,
Sure.
do you still think you can hit that goal? And if so, how?
We are still going to work hard to hit that goal, Mo. And what we know nationally, we have seen traffic fatalities grow up. We have seen speeding and reckless driving increase, and we have seen more people living on the edge. And so our job is to use our budget, and the budget that was just approved by the council includes $200 million that will allow us to fix every dangerous intersection and corridor identified by DDOT. It will also allow us to put more people, crossing guards in traffic TCOs, we call them traffic control officers, and more crossing guards for more hours. We know all of those things will make our streets safer.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Trayon White, you proposed a ticket forgiveness program in DC for DC's ticketing program. You called it predatory, but this comes at the same time. We've seen pedestrian cyclist deaths the highest since 2008. So should dangerous drivers be given a break on these tickets, even though we're seeing these alarming numbers of deaths of people being hit by these speeding cars?
It's strange how you categorize that. Absolutely not. What we are saying is that DC has one of the 3rd highest ticket rates in the country, and it's predatory. Anytime we see DC government workers driving around 2 o'clock in the morning, it's not about public safety, it's about revenue. We see speed cameras. Do you know that in DC, under the law, you can get a $500 and a $1,000 ticket in Washington, DC today? And we got plenty of ways to recuperate on that investment. Let me tell you how. When you get a ticket, you have to pay that. When you get a boot, you have to pay that. When you get told, you have to pay that. When you go to the lot, you have to pay that on Saturday and Sunday, even when they're closed. If you don't pay that, they're going to take it out of your taxes. And they're going to sell your car and make money off your car, and you still have to pay.
Councilmember Robert White, there's a possibility NFL football could return to the district. Give me a second, you all. Given the current investigation surrounding Commanders owner Dan.
Second, y'all. Give her a second, man. They gotta let her breathe, man. They gotta chill out. Man. Let me let it play though. Let me let it play. We almost done.
Dan Snyder, would you be comfortable moving forward with a project to bring a stadium to DC? You have 30 seconds.
Regardless of the issues with Dan Snyder, I wouldn't be comfortable bringing the stadium to DC. Here's why. Most of us would love a football stadium, but what we need is housing. We're watching massive displacement, particularly of people of color move from our city. And some people will say, well, we can have housing in a stadium. Well, a stadium now.
Them niggas said, fuck the crime and housing. We want our football team.
Yo.
Bro, we can stop right. I don't even want to. I can't, man. I just can't. I can't, bro.
Hey, they might have a part 2 to this. We're gonna get this going, man. I'm
Oh
glad y'all
shit,
came, man. One way or another, everybody came in, show some love. You know, shout out to Freeze though. Lou again. He just dropped it. I can't
oh
stop laughing,
shit.
bro. I'm gonna laugh all the
Who
way
cares about crime, man? This is what we wanted. We want our football team. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Fuck.
They want
The NBL can flourish as long as the football team is here.
Is there, man. You heard, man. Oh man, tailgating Sundays. They want that back, man. They don't want to travel across to Maryland, man. They want their team in DC, man. Forget the crime. Forget the affordable housing. We want that. We want them skins back.
We want them touchdowns. We want that skybox. Ain't no crime in the skybox. Nah. So we need to bring that back. The refs ain't shooting up people. The football players ain't shooting up people. Let's bring it back.
Let's bring it back. Sure, yo, we about to end this not too far ahead. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You got a wrench? I think you do, right?
Yeah, I just dropped the I dropped the link in there.
All right,
so I'm gonna head over there, bro.
I'm gonna head over there too, man. I'm out to be outside, but I'm gonna be listening in, man. Wow, man.
Man. Appreciate you having this, man. This was very, very insightful.
Man, I'm about to do some more. I'm about to find out who's running for mayor. We got to see these. We might even go way back in the time machine and check out these debates, man. The next debate I will maybe do is Al Sharpton versus Roy Ennis. We're gonna do that one next.
I'll be there for that.
We're gonna do that one. We're gonna try to get that in there, and then I might do Donahue and Vince McMahon. We'll do that as well. So, hey, man, thank everybody for stopping by. Free Zone Lou, of course, always showing love, man.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying? We're
gonna
do more consistency, man. Take it easy. I'm out too, man. Peace.